The frozen silence. The wind howled like a dying beast across the white desert of Zura 9. Snowflakes spun in the air like tiny knives, sharp and endless. Captain Eli Ward pulled his coat tighter and looked at the screen on his wrist device. A weak distress signal blinked red. Unusual, weak, and barely holding on. He wasn't supposed to be outside. No human should be out in a Zura 9 blizzard. But that signal, it wasn't from any Earth unit. It was alien. Eli was a scout. Alone. His ship had landed 2 days ago for a resource scan. But now this signal had pulled him deeper into the storm, miles away from safety. He scanned the icy landscape, nothing but white. Then, he saw it. Half buried in the snow was a shape. Not a rock. Not a machine. It was a person. Eli ran toward it, boots crunching over thick layers of snow. He dropped to his knees beside the figure. It was a woman. Blue-skinned. Silver veins glowed faintly under her skin. She wasn't human. Not fully. Her face was frozen, lips turning gray. But her eyes, they were open. Barely. She looked at Eli. Her hand twitched. And then, in a broken whisper, she spoke. Her voice was soft. Fragile. Don't let them find me. Eli froze. The words were in English. Clear. But how? She grabbed his wrist. Her hand was ice cold, but her grip was desperate. She coughed, blood staining the snow near her mouth. Please, she begged. Help me. He didn't hesitate. Eli lifted her into his arms. She was light, too light, like she hadn't eaten in weeks. He turned back, following his tracking lines through the snowstorm. His shelter was a small thermal pod, buried beneath layers of snow and stone. It took nearly an hour to return, and by the time he made it, his arms were numb. The alien woman was barely breathing. He laid her on a heat mat and started the emergency warming process. The pod's lights glowed orange as warmth returned to the room. Steam rose from her skin as the ice began to melt off her body. Eli looked at her face. It was strange, beautiful in a haunting way. Her eyes, when they opened again, were silver with faint glowing lines. She blinked slowly. You are not like them, she whispered. Who are them? Eli asked. She looked at him with fear in her eyes. The ones who hunt me. The ones who took everything. Before he could ask more, her body arched in pain. Strange symbols appeared on her neck, glowing faintly in the heat. Eli leaned closer. The symbols weren't just random marks. They moved, forming shapes, a map. Suddenly, the power flickered. The pod lights dimmed. For a second, everything was quiet. Then she whispered again. They are watching, even now. Eli felt a chill run down his spine. Who are you? He asked. She opened her hand. Inside was something small, a silver chain with a metal tag. Eli took it carefully. It was a human military dog tag. His own heart skipped a beat. It had his brother's name on it. Commander Alan Ward. Eli's mind raced. His brother had gone missing 2 years ago on a mission near the Zura system. The military had declared him dead. But now, this alien woman had his tag. What? What do you know about him? Eli asked, his voice low and shaking. She closed her eyes. He tried to stop them. He failed. And then she passed out again. Eli stood there, frozen. The snowstorm outside howled louder than ever. But inside, it was silent. He stared at the dog tag, at the alien woman, and at the strange glowing map now fading from her skin. He had come to Zura 9 to scan minerals. Now he was holding a dying alien who spoke perfect English, carried his brother's tag, and warned him of something that was watching. Something was very wrong. And Eli was already too deep to turn back. Secrets beneath the ice. The alien woman slept for hours, her breathing soft but uneven. Captain Eli Ward stayed close, sitting against the cold wall of his small survival pod, staring at her. The dog tag still lay on the table beside him, shining under the dim lights. His brother's name felt like a ghost in the room. The storm outside roared louder now. Zura 9 didn't care who lived or died. Suddenly, she gasped. Her body jerked. Her eyes shot open. "No," she cried out, her voice cracking with fear. Eli rushed to her side. "It's okay. You're safe. No one's here." She looked around wildly, breathing fast, her skin glowing slightly with panic. Her veins shimmered under the surface like liquid silver. "I saw them," she said, "in my dream. But it wasn't a dream. It was a memory." Eli knelt beside her. "Who are you? How do you have my brother's tag?" Her eyes locked with his. "My name is Soraya. I'm not fully human, and not fully alien. I was made. By both." Eli frowned. "What do you mean, made?" Soraya slowly sat up, holding her side in pain. "Years ago, a secret program was created. Your people wanted to study alien DNA. My people wanted peace. They met in silence, under the ice of this planet. Scientists, not soldiers. They worked together, built something new. And you're the result?" Eli asked. She nodded. "I was the first hybrid. My DNA is human and Zurian. I was supposed to be a bridge between two worlds." Eli couldn't believe what he was hearing. "And my brother?" Soraya looked down. "He wasn't like the others. He cared. He protected me. But when the military came, everything changed. They took control. They didn't want peace. They wanted power." She leaned forward, her voice shaking. "They started using the hybrids for experiments, painful ones. I was lucky. He helped me escape." Eli's hands clenched into fists. "Then what happened to him?" She closed her eyes. "They caught him. I don't know what they did next. I only found his tag in the snow, near the burning labs." Eli sat back, heart pounding. The military had lied. They told him his brother died in a crash. But now, this woman claimed he died protecting her. The shelter lights flickered again. Soraya looked up quickly. "They're watching." "Who?" Eli asked. "Drones. Micro-trackers. Hidden in the snow, in the wind. They can see movement. Listen to voices." Eli stood. "Then we need to move." "No," Soraya said quickly. "You don't understand. If we go out now, they'll see us." She lifted her arm and pressed her fingers to the skin on her forearm. A glowing panel opened, something like a holographic tattoo. A map appeared between them, floating in the air. Eli leaned in. It showed the terrain of Zura 9, but it was different. There were tunnels under the ice, deep, long tunnels with strange markings. "This is the old research base," Soraya whispered. "It's hidden deep under the eastern ridge. If we reach it, we'll find proof. Records, files, everything your people try to erase." "Why haven't you gone there before?" Eli asked. "I couldn't survive alone," she said. "And I didn't know who to trust. Until I saw your face." She reached into a small pouch on her belt and pulled out a device. It looked like a small black cube. "What's that?" Eli asked. Soraya held it tightly. "It's a biochip. It was meant for him, your brother. It can rewrite human cells, make you stronger, faster, even live longer. It's alien tech merged with human design, but it only works with hybrid DNA nearby." She looked into Eli's eyes. "I will give this to you, if you help me." Eli took a long breath. His instincts screamed at him. This was bigger than anything he'd signed up for, bigger than his mission. "You're saying the military created something they couldn't control, then tried to bury it?" Soraya nodded. He stood and walked to the window. Snow blew sideways, and the ice cracked in the distance. This place wasn't just cold, it was hiding things. "How long until they find us?" Eli asked. "Not long," Soraya replied. "They track heat. The pod's warmth, it's like a flare in the dark." Eli turned to her. Then we need to go now. She tried to stand, but her legs trembled. Eli caught her. You're not strong enough to walk in this storm, he said. Then help me, she said, her voice firm. Eli gave her a small nod and opened the storage locker. He pulled out thermal gear, weapons, and a portable heat shield. The map said the old base was 6 miles away, underground. Before they left, Soraya placed the dog tag in Eli's hand. He wanted to save people, she said. Now it's your turn. Outside, the wind screamed louder. But inside, 2 people, 1 human, 1 hybrid, prepared to walk into the heart of a buried secret. And something, or someone, was already waiting. The truth she hides. The wind outside screamed like a wild animal. Inside the ice tunnels of Zura 9, it was cold and silent. Captain Eli Ward moved slowly, helping Soraya walk through the narrow passage. The soft light from his wrist device guided the way. Snow and ice cracked beneath their feet, echoing through the frozen corridor. The map Soraya had shown him glowed faintly from a small implant in her palm. It pulsed with each step, guiding them toward the hidden base, the place where everything had started and ended. As they walked, Eli glanced at her. She was breathing harder now, holding her side. Her skin glowed a little brighter in the cold, veins shimmering like silver threads under thin skin. "Are you okay?" he asked. She gave a small nod. "The cold slows my system, but I'll manage." Eli helped her sit on a frozen stone to rest. They were inside a long-forgotten service tunnel built by the first hybrid research teams decades ago. Buried, hidden, erased. Eli finally asked the question burning inside him. "What really happened here, Soraya? Tell me everything." She looked up at him. Her silver eyes were tired but focused. "I didn't tell you the full truth," she said slowly. "I had to be sure you wouldn't leave me behind." Eli crossed his arms. "I'm still here, aren't I?" Soraya gave a faint smile, then looked down at her hands. "I was not just a test subject. I was their success. The first hybrid who survived the full integration process. Human and Zurian DNA living in perfect balance. Strong, fast, intelligent." Eli nodded. "So what went wrong?" She looked into the dark tunnel ahead. The humans wanted soldiers. The Zurians wanted peace. At first, it was cooperation. But then your commanders realized what we could do. Healing faster, lifting twice the weight, surviving in cold and radiation. We were no longer research. We were weapons. Her voice dropped lower. They started making more of us. Clones. Half-children. Some didn't survive. Some went mad. The labs were full of screams. Eli's stomach turned. "And my brother?" Soraya's voice softened. "Your brother was the only one who spoke against it. He helped me escape, but he stayed behind to destroy the files." She reached into her coat and pulled out a small data chip hidden in a protective cover. "This is part of the main server," she said. "It has proof. Images, logs, orders, names of people who approved the project. It's why they're hunting me." Eli stared at the chip. "Why not give it to someone already?" "Because I tried," she said. "And every time I did, the people I trusted vanished, or ended up dead. There's a network. They erase the truth before it spreads." Eli felt the weight of her words. His brother, his own government, his entire mission, it was built on lies. Just then, a soft clicking noise echoed behind them. Eli spun around, gun raised. The tunnel was empty. But the sound came again, closer this time. Tick, tick, tick. Soraya froze. "They're here." "What is it?" Eli whispered. She closed her eyes. "Tracker drones. Small, fast, almost invisible." Eli grabbed her hand. "We run. Now." They moved quickly, following the glowing path on her palm. The ticking grew louder, faster, like a clock counting down. Suddenly, red lights flickered on both sides of the tunnel. Lasers swept across the walls. They've activated a trap, Soraya said. These tunnels were rigged in case of escape. Eli spotted a broken side door and shoved it open. Inside was a small chamber, half buried in snow and debris. A control panel blinked faintly. Soraya sat beside it, typing quickly. Symbols flashed across the screen. Eli aimed his weapon at the tunnel entrance. "Can you shut it down?" "No," she said, "but I can lead them somewhere else." She connected her implant to the system. A fake signal pulsed from the panel. "They'll think we went east," she whispered. Moments later, the ticking faded. Silence returned. Eli helped her to her feet. "You knew about the traps." She nodded slowly. "I helped build them." Eli blinked. "What?" "I wasn't just a test subject," she said. "I was part of the design team. They used my mind, my skills. Before the lab turned into a prison, I helped create every part of the base." Eli looked at her with a new kind of respect. "Then you're the key to everything." "No," she said quietly. "I'm the last piece of a broken puzzle." They continued walking. Finally, the tunnel opened into a large chamber. Frozen lab tables, broken glass, and collapsed walls surrounded them. Old machines stood silent like statues. And in the center, the main server core, half buried in ice. Soraya fell to her knees. She touched the floor gently, almost like saying hello to a ghost. "This is where it ended," she said. "This is where he died." Eli looked around. It was hard to imagine this cold, dead place once held living beings. Experiments, hope, betrayal. "We'll get the files," he said. "We'll show the world." Soraya touched the server and whispered something in Zurian. A soft hum started. Lights flickered. The core was still alive. Just then, a voice came through Eli's communicator. A voice he hadn't heard in 2 years. "Eli, it's Alan. If you're hearing this, you found her. You need to run. Now." Eli's heart skipped a beat. His brother's voice. Recorded, but clear. The message continued. "She's not just important. She's the only one who can stop what's coming." "Enemies in the snow." The voice message echoed through the cold chamber, every word sinking into Eli's chest like ice. "She's the only one who can stop what's coming." Eli couldn't move. His brother's voice, recorded but alive, sounded tired, desperate, and afraid. Soraya knelt beside the glowing server core, her hand resting on the ice-covered console. She looked up at Eli. "You heard it too." He nodded slowly. "My brother knew all of this, and he died trying to stop it." Soraya's voice was soft. "He was the only one who saw us as people, not products." The lights in the server flickered brighter. Data began to stream onto her implant screen. Logs, video files, documents. Everything the military had buried beneath the snow. Names of generals. Experiment results. Lists of hybrids. The truth. Suddenly, the walls shook. A deep rumble rolled through the tunnel. Eli stood up. "What was that?" Soraya's eyes widened. "They're coming." She tapped the console, trying to speed up the download. "I triggered a response beacon when I accessed the core. They know we're here now." Another rumble, louder this time. Eli looked toward the tunnel entrance. Snow dust fell from the ceiling. "We need to move." "Not yet," she said. "The files are almost done." But Eli was already grabbing his weapon. He knew how this worked. If a strike team was on its way, they wouldn't just be soldiers. They would send kill units, machines programmed to erase everything. Soraya finally pulled the chip from the console and shoved it into a hidden slot on her belt. "Got it." Then, behind them, the tunnel exploded. Flames shot through the corridor, melting walls of ice. A blast wave threw them to the floor. Eli grabbed Soraya and dragged her behind a collapsed table. His ears rang. Smoke filled the room. From the burning tunnel came footsteps. Heavy, slow, metallic. Eli peeked out, and his heart stopped. It was a Reaper unit. 7 feet tall, black metal, red eyes, 4 arms. It walked through fire like a ghost, scanning the room with laser precision. "Stay down," Eli whispered. Soraya's breathing quickened. "That's not just any Reaper. It's a prototype. One I helped design." The machine spoke in a flat, soulless voice. "Target located. Eliminate witness. Retrieve biochip." Eli raised his gun, but Soraya grabbed his wrist. "No, bullets won't stop it." The Reaper stepped forward. Its arms split into weapons. 1 blade, 1 cannon, and 2 grabbing claws. "Run," Soraya shouted. They sprinted across the room, dodging sparks and falling debris. The Reaper fired. The shot hit a console, sending shards of metal flying. They reached the far end of the chamber. Soraya tapped a panel on the wall. It slid open, revealing another tunnel. "Hurry," she said. They dived inside, the door sealing behind them just as the Reaper's blade slammed into it. Darkness surrounded them. Only the soft glow from Soraya's hand lit the path ahead. They walked quickly, both breathing hard, skin covered in ash and ice. Eli looked at her. "Why do they want the biochip so badly?" Soraya wiped blood from her lip. "Because it's not just for health or power. It contains something more." "More?" She nodded. "My people encoded a consciousness inside it. A living eye. One that holds Zurian knowledge, science, language, history, defense systems. If it merges with the right mind, it can unlock everything." Eli stared at her. "You mean, you?" She looked away. "No, it was meant for me. But I'm dying." Eli's heart skipped. "What?" Soraya stopped walking. Her shoulders dropped. "The damage from the experiments. The cold. The years on the run. My body can't hold the biochip much longer." He stepped closer. "Then who can?" She looked up at him. "Someone with human strength and a connection to me. Someone who can carry both legacies." Eli shook his head. "You're talking about me." "I'm saying, you may be the last chance we have." Before he could reply, a soft beeping noise echoed through the tunnel. Soraya grabbed his hand. "That's not good." "What is it?" "Trackers. They sent more." Eli spotted a metal door ahead. He slammed the keypad. Nothing. "It's frozen shut." Soraya stepped forward and placed her glowing hand against it. The Zurian tech responded. Lights blinked, and the door hissed open. They entered a large chamber filled with broken glass tubes, old test pods. Soraya walked past them, touching one gently. "This is where I was born." Eli looked around. "These were for the others." She nodded. "Hundreds, maybe more. Some never made it. Some became dangerous." From the far end of the room came a new sound. Not machines. Voices. Human. Then a bright beam of light swept across them. Hands in the air. Someone shouted. Eli raised his weapon. 4 soldiers entered in heavy armor. Earth military. The flag on their arms was clear. "Drop it now," the lead one yelled. Soraya stepped forward, hands up. "Please, listen." The soldiers aimed at her. "She's a hybrid. Command says terminate on sight." Eli moved between them. "She's not a threat. She's property of the Earth Unity military," one soldier said coldly. Eli's voice turned to steel. "She's not property. She's a person. And she has proof of what they did." "Don't care," the soldier said. "Orders are orders." He raised his weapon. Soraya closed her eyes. But then, boom! An explosion shook the ground. From the tunnel behind the soldiers, the Reaper unit arrived. It wasn't hunting anymore. It was cleaning up. And now it was coming for everyone. The memory link. The Reaper unit stormed through the tunnel like a beast of metal and fire. The soldiers who had just aimed their weapons at Eli and Soraya turned too late. One was grabbed by the claw arm and thrown into a wall. Another tried to shoot, but the blast from the Reaper's cannon sent him flying. "Go," Eli shouted. Soraya didn't hesitate. She grabbed Eli's hand and ran across the lab, weaving between broken pods and shattered glass. Behind them, the Reaper tore through the remaining soldiers like paper. It didn't care who was in the way. Its mission was clear: destroy everything, especially Soraya. They reached a sealed door. Eli slammed the keypad. No response. Soraya touched the panel with her glowing hand. The door hissed open just as the Reaper's red laser scanned the room. It spotted them. It raised its cannon arm. But they slipped through. The door slammed shut. And then, silence. Their breathing was heavy. Soraya collapsed against the wall, coughing hard. Her body trembled. Eli knelt beside her. "You okay?" She nodded weakly. Not much time left. Eli looked at her, really looked. She was pale. Her silver veins were dim now. The glow from her implant had faded. Her body was shutting down. "You need help," he said. "We can find a medical pod. Maybe." "No," she said. "It's too late for that. The experiments, they shortened my life. I knew this would happen." Eli didn't say anything. He felt a knot in his chest. This woman, this half-human, half-alien, was dying not because of some natural illness, but because of what people had done to her. "I don't want to die without showing you," she whispered. "Showing me what?" She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small flat disc. It glowed faintly with blue light. "This is a memory link," she said. "It allows two minds to connect, share thoughts, feelings, even the truth." Eli hesitated. "You want me to see inside your mind?" "Yes," she said. "So you'll understand what I am, and why this matters." He looked at the disc. Then he looked at her. "I trust you," he said quietly. She smiled. Soraya pressed the disc to her temple. Then gently, she placed it on Eli's forehead. At first, nothing happened. Then everything changed. Suddenly, Eli wasn't in the lab anymore. He was floating in darkness. Stars blinked around him. Then memories began to rise, like bubbles in deep water. He saw Soraya as a child, alone in a glass chamber. Scientists in white coats watched her. She cried for someone to talk to, but no one came. Next, he saw her being trained, needles in her arms, machines scanning her brain. Pain, fear, silence. Then, Alan Ward, Eli's brother. He knelt beside Soraya and gave her a small crystal. A gift. "You're not a monster," Alan said. "You're a miracle." Eli felt her emotions: joy, confusion, warmth. She had never known kindness before that moment. Then came the betrayal. Military commanders stormed the labs. Alan argued with them. He begged them to stop, but they didn't listen. They turned the lab into a prison. And when Soraya escaped, Alan stayed behind to destroy the data. He died in the fire, buying her time. The last thing Soraya saw of him was his hand pressed against the glass, as the flames swallowed him. Eli's heart ached. He felt everything she felt. Her grief, her guilt, her loneliness. Then the vision shifted again. Eli saw himself, through her eyes. Back when she first saw him walking through the blizzard. "I thought you were just another hunter," her memory said. "But your eyes, they were like his. You looked at me like I was a person." The memory faded. And then Eli woke up. He gasped, falling back against the wall. Soraya looked at him, weak but calm. "You saw it," she whispered. Eli nodded slowly. "I saw everything." The silence between them was full of meaning. "You're not just a survivor," he said. "You're the last light of your people." Soraya tried to smile. "And you're the last hope of yours." Eli stood. "Then we finish this." "But we can't fight the Reaper," she said. "Not like this." Eli looked down at her belt. The biochip glowed faintly. "You said it was meant to merge with someone. Someone with human and Zurian connection." She nodded. Yes, it needs a host to activate the eye. Eli met her gaze. Then give it to me. Soraya hesitated. Are you sure? No, he said honestly. But I won't let them win. I won't let your story die. She removed the biochip. It pulsed with blue light. This will change you, she warned. It may hurt. I've already been changed, he said. She pressed the chip to his chest. Pain exploded through him. His vision blurred. His body shook. His heart raced. Then everything went black. When Eli woke up, he felt different. Stronger. Sharper. He stood slowly. Soraya was watching him, barely breathing. Your eyes, she said softly. They're glowing. Eli looked down at his hands. Light danced across his skin. The chip had fused. He could feel the AI inside. It was alive. It whispered knowledge, maps, codes, languages, and something more. A plan. He reached down and helped Soraya up. We're not running anymore. She smiled. What now? We make them regret everything. The fire beneath. Eli Ward stood at the edge of the shattered laboratory chamber, his breath forming small clouds in the frozen air. The biochip had fully fused with his body. He could feel its energy humming under his skin, alien and human tech combined in a way that had never been done before. Soraya stood beside him, weak but alert. Her glow had faded, but her spirit burned strong. Through the thick ice wall, they heard the Reaper unit approaching again. Thump, thump, thump. Its heavy metal feet crushed the floor behind them. Sparks danced in the tunnel. Its voice echoed like death. Hybrid confirmed. Target acquired. Purge initiated. Eli turned to Soraya. Stay behind me. He stepped forward, and something strange happened. The walls lit up. The ancient tech in the lab responded to him, recognizing him as something new. A key. A defender. He reached his hand toward the ice wall. It melted instantly, revealing a control panel buried behind it. Symbols flashed across the surface. Zurian runes and old Earth military codes mixed together. How are you doing that? Soraya whispered. I don't know, Eli replied. I just feel it. The Reaper unit stomped into view. It raised its cannon. But Eli moved faster than he ever had before. He pressed his palm to the panel, and the floor below them split open. A spiral lift dropped them into a lower level, deep beneath the base. As the platform descended, Soraya clung to the side, breathing hard. Where are we going? I think. Somewhere even they couldn't reach, Eli said, his voice calm but uncertain. The platform stopped with a soft click. They stepped into a huge, glowing cavern. It wasn't built by humans. It wasn't even fully made by Zurians. It was older. Strange crystal towers pulsed with light, and giant machines floated silently in midair. It felt like they had entered the heart of the planet. Soraya gasped. The core. What is this place? Eli asked. She walked forward, touching a glowing crystal. The Reapers, the experiments. Everything came from knowledge found here. This is the original vault. The Zurians discovered it centuries ago, but no one understood how to activate it. Eli looked around. He could feel something pulling at him, calling him. Then one of the crystal towers lit up. A voice, soft and ancient, spoke in a language he didn't know, and yet understood. You are the first bonded, chosen by the hybrid, guardian of life. Soraya stepped back, her eyes wide. It recognizes you. The core accepts you. Eli touched the crystal, his mind filled with visions, wars, peace treaties, ancient stars, and forgotten truths. He saw the Zurians in their early days, peaceful and wise. He saw Earth's future, full of darkness unless someone stopped the spread of the military control program. Then the vision faded. Eli turned to Soraya. This is the weapon, isn't it? The real one. She nodded, not to destroy, but to reveal. If you activate the core, It will send the full truth across every system, every human outpost, every Zurian world, all the secrets, all the crimes. Eli understood. That's why they buried it. Why they hunted you. This would destroy everything they built. She stepped toward him, her voice soft. But there's a cost. He looked at her. The core needs life to activate fully, she said. A living soul must merge with it, and it only accepts a bonded pair. Eli stared at her. You mean, both of us? Soraya nodded slowly. One human, one hybrid. Our minds, our hearts, together. But it will kill us, he said. Yes, she whispered, but it will save millions. Silence fell between them. Above them, the Reaper's roar shook the walls. It was coming, down the same path. No one had ever stopped it. No one had ever escaped it. Eli stepped forward. I'll do it. Soraya looked at him. Are you sure? He nodded. My brother gave his life trying to stop this. I won't let his sacrifice be wasted. And you don't deserve to die hunted. You deserve to be remembered. She smiled, small, sad, and full of warmth. Together, they placed their hands on the crystal. The core pulsed. Light surrounded them. And then, it spoke again. Connection complete. Bond accepted. Initiating revelation protocol. Suddenly, their bodies dissolved into glowing light. Streams of data, of memory, of truth. And above them, above ground, moments later, the Reaper burst into the lab chamber. The soldiers were gone. The place was empty, cold. Then the walls lit up. Screens appeared on every surface. Walls, ceilings, machines. Every screen showed the same thing. The truth. Footage of the hybrid experiments. Secret orders. Commanders giving the green light to torture. Logs with names and dates. Alan Ward's final message. Across Earth colonies, the message spread. People watched in horror. Protests began. Leaders were arrested. The truth couldn't be stopped. And the Reaper? Its systems crashed. It fell to its knees. Powerless. Deep below Zura-9. The light faded. The crystal dimmed. Eli and Soraya were gone. But in their place, a glowing tree began to grow. Silver branches, blue leaves. A living monument, a blend of two worlds. Forever united. Her last gift. 2 weeks later, across the galaxy, nothing was the same. On every human colony, every Zurian world, and even on deep space stations, people whispered the same question. Did you see the revelation? The truth had spread faster than anyone imagined. It couldn't be deleted. It couldn't be stopped. The core had made sure of that. Screens on Earth showed the hidden experiments, secret orders, images of children in glass pods, documents signed by powerful men and women who were now hiding from the world they once controlled. Some tried to deny it, but the video of Commander Alan Ward speaking his final words broke every wall of doubt. They tried to use them, hurt them, but they were more human than we ever were. If this message plays, it means they got out, and I failed. But maybe, just maybe, someone else didn't. People cried. People raged. People marched in the streets. Soldiers tore off their badges. Scientists turned in their data. The system cracked open like ice under pressure. And in the middle of it all was a name. Soraya, the last hybrid. And the man who stood beside her, Eli Ward. Back on Zura-9, the planet was still cold. The wind still howled, but deep in the icy caves, where once there was only silence and shadows, something new had grown. A tree. Not an ordinary tree. Its branches were silver like starlight. Its leaves shimmered with soft blue light. It hummed gently, like it was alive, dreaming. The tree stood exactly where Soraya and Eli had joined with the core. Pilots from both Earth and Zurian rescue teams found it weeks later. They called it the Heartroot. People who touched it said they could hear voices, not in words, but in feelings. Peace, warmth, hope. One Zurian elder placed his hand on the trunk and wept. They did not die, he said. They became something more. Scientists confirmed it. The tree was alive, part biological, part energy. And inside it was stored the memory code of two minds, Soraya, Eli, their thoughts, their feelings, their mission. Not erased, not forgotten. Preserved. 1 month later, a special ceremony. On Earth's main capital station, a grand ceremony was held. The military leaders responsible for the hybrid project were publicly removed. Many were arrested. Others disappeared before justice arrived. But the real focus of the day wasn't punishment. It was remembrance. In front of a crowd of thousands, including Zurians and humans standing side by side, a small monument was revealed. 2 statues, one of Soraya, her hands open in peace, her eyes full of quiet strength, and beside her, Eli Ward, holding his brother's dog tag in one hand and a glowing crystal in the other. Below the statues, a plaque read, "They gave their lives not to destroy, but to unite. Human and hybrid, soldier and scientist, enemies turned family." The audience stood in silence. And then, without being asked, they all placed a hand over their hearts. Even the Zurians, even the children. No one needed to be told what they had lost or what they had gained. But deep in space, something stirred. Far from Earth and Zura 9, a long-abandoned space station blinked back to life. Its systems had been offline for years, damaged, forgotten. Now screens inside flickered. One showed a new message. Incoming data file. Core consciousness upload detected. The lights turned green. And a soft, familiar voice whispered through the speaker, "I am Soraya, and I am not gone." Another voice joined her, steady, calm. "I'm Eli. I've seen the worst in humans, but I still believe in the best." Their minds, joined, reborn, had been copied by the core. Somewhere in that station, a new vessel was being prepared, not to bring war, but to bring warning. Because hidden within the data of the core was something neither of them had spoken aloud, something they had both felt in their final moments. The Reapers weren't just Earth's creation. Someone, or something, else had been guiding them, watching, testing. And now that the secret was out, that unknown force had gone quiet. Too quiet. As if waiting. As if planning. Final scene. Zura 9, again. A small human girl stood at the base of the glowing tree. Her family was part of a science team sent to study the heartroot. She pressed her hand gently to the trunk. For a second, the light brightened. She smiled. "Thank you," she whispered. Then she ran off to join her parents. Behind her, the tree glowed softly. Inside, voices whispered, not in sadness, not in pain, but in purpose. They had saved the galaxy once, and they were still watching, still listening, still ready. The end.